So I'm here in the Philadelphia Convention Center with Patrick and Sue Stack, who are from the Pacific Northwest. You're from Olympia, right? Awesome. Okay. Not delegates, meaning they've been freely, fluidly able to wander around and see everything that's happening here. So what would you like to share? Two ideas with the people back home, like impressions that you may want to share from your experience here, or not if you want to do that later, but also going forward, where would you like Berniecrats to be putting their energy?
Okay, I'm going to do the second one, where Berniecrats should be putting their energy. When I go back home, I'm going to be running as a PCO. I'm uncontested, so I will be a precinct committee officer. So I'll have more voting power in the Thurston County Democrats, which is what I belong to. I want to stay inside the Democratic Party to reform it at that level and to encourage others to join the Democratic Party, to change it, to fight for down-ticket Berniecrats. I know that that's one platform that already exists that we can build up and come together. I also still encourage people who are outside of the Democratic Party to work on issues that we can come together on, whether it be initiatives and other ways to enact change. But personally, I'm going to stay inside the Democratic Party and try to reform that as much as I can.
I spent a period of time actually talking with people about, like I don't know how many people show up at your meetings, but when I go to my 34th Dems meeting and Patty Murray, who is the woman who orchestrated the passage of fast-tracked, TPP. So she literally is the one who brought that about, who got the votes in Congress that they needed, the 16 or 17 votes. And so she's not someone who I'm really thrilled with. And I went to the 34th Dems meeting. I happen to be a PCO right now. I am running for re-election. And what was fascinating was that there were about 42 people in that room who voted to endorse Patty Murray. So there's 65,000 people in the 34th Dems district, and only 42 people of those 65,000 actually cast a ballot in her favor. But because there were only 17 other people in the room who voted against her, she gets to walk around and say, I have the endorsement of the 34th Dems, as if 65,000 people actually support her. So what have you found in your district around that? And because think of it, if we only had 30 extra people in the room, 30 out of 65,000, and they were Berniecrats, she would not have gotten the endorsement. It seems to me like small numbers of motivated individuals right now can have a massive influence at that level within the Democratic Party. What are you guys experiencing?
Definitely. Sometimes the Thurston County Dems is a larger group, so we can have upwards of 70 people during this.
And that's county,
Yes.
not district.
Our legislative district is LD2.
It is much smaller.
Right.
At our endorsement meeting, we did not endorse Jay Inslee.
Right.
Refused endorsement for him due to his superdelegate position of not supporting Bernie. But that was a very close vote.
Right.
And it does make a difference. One or two people would have made that difference for the other side.
Right.
So keeping Berniecrats who are in the party connected, to be like, hey, there's a meeting coming up, we need you to be there because we can change the party right now. Not tomorrow, but right now.
Right. I know Jay Inslee also was basically against 522, which was our basically labeled GMOs, so we know what we're buying at the grocery store, and he didn't back that. Yeah.
We came here as Bernie Peacekeepers, so we attended the Bernie Peacekeeper training since we're not delegates. We spent the majority of our time here in the last 2 days outside the convention with the protesters, and we've been very proud of their behavior and their activism.
Yeah.
So now it's about converting that activism into some change for the party, I think, which is something we can work together on right now.
You know what I think is really cool is this is all about strategy, and a person could join the Democratic Party, go to those meetings, and influence. People don't understand how important it is because it can make a big difference. They can influence those meetings, and yet they can still vote green if they wanted to in November. So the idea is if you care to get involved, flood the Democratic Party with your Berniecrat energy, but also remember that does not disempower you in November.
An individual. You can vote however you want.
Yes, so you can work on the policy that we agree on against TPP, for consumer product awareness, for GMO labeling, and
$15 minimum wage.
and also not support a candidate that doesn't reflect those values that we share.
Right. Yeah. So it's really about, like, the last year has been like one long civics lesson for the people in America. And I just feel like we've only learned maybe 25% of what we need to learn, and we need to go forward, because 2016 in November is really important, but 2018 in November is possibly more important. We now have 2 years to find, develop, support, and get candidates on the ballot, really
servants.
true public servants. Yeah.
Bold progressives.
And then in 2020, we have the opportunity to put a true progressive in the White House with a progressive Congress. And at that moment, we can start to turn things around.
Definitely. This is the important groundwork. 2 years from now, right now, 4 years from now, it's important work right now.
So the next century will benefit from what we're doing during this decade.
Definitely. We're setting the tone for a century worth of politics.
A century worth of fixing the problems.
Time.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the same issues since the 70s.
And
These
before
aren't new issues.
and
Well,
bef-
FDR.
FDR
Right.
had the Economic Bill of Rights, which was something that he was working on and did not get to in his time in office. But that's not a new concept. It's almost a century later. We're ready to drive some change forward and get it done.
Yeah. One more thing, in Maine right now, they have an initiative it's going to come up on the ballot in November about runoff voting. Right? That is a
Yes.
really important issue, I think, to get out to everyone, because they're using it in some other countries. And it's so brilliant because everyone could vote for who they really cared for. Like, oh, I love Bernie, but I'm worried that he's going to fail against Trump. So in a runoff, it's like, I'm going to vote Bernie first, but I'll vote Clinton as my second, as my backup. And you haven't at all helped Trump.
Right.
Yes.
And that would change everything. That's true representation.
Definitely. You can vote for who you want and then also not support who you're against.
Yes. So we need to get that information out. I think that'd be a good thing to do big time, because I'd like in 2018 for Washington State to have an initiative to create runoff voting in the state.
I think, Berniecrats of all political ideological leanings, whether more Republican, Independent, or Democrat, Berniecrats can all support that. And maybe even people who don't currently identify as Berniecrats might be able to brought in saying, hey, do you want democracy to work? Here we can make it work.
It's more democratic than the two-party system, or even the top two runoff that we have in Washington State.
It's the next step, I think.
Yeah, I know. I would like it if Brady Walkinshaw and Pramila Jayapal and Joe were all going to be on the ballot in November, rather than we're going to be down to two as of August 2nd. Because then you keep more people at the debates, more conversation happening. It'll be interesting to see if Jill Stein is able to, if she reaches the cutoff level where she should be allowed to attend the debates.
I'd like to see actually all four, Johnson.
Yes,
Jill Stein.
he's libertarian, right?
Yes, I'd like to see all four, because debate is what helps educate the public.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be an unpopularity contest. It should be a values contest of who we want to support as a nation, as citizens together.
Yeah, I mean, look what Bernie was able to do to the conversation within the Democratic Party. Well, Jill Stein and Johnson, they can bring that to the next 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who are strictly party affiliated, it's 33% independents, 20-something Democrats, and something less than 20-something Republicans.
Wait, you mean what is the division within
the nation?
Oh, no. So then this is, you can look it up. It's accurate. No one gets this right. 22% of registered voters in the United States of America are registered as Republican. 26% are registered as Democrats, and 43% are registered as independents. No one gets that. Less than 50% of our voters are either Democrat or Republican, and the other half are not Democrat and Republican. The world is ready for this change.
Definitely.
And more people need to become registered voters.
Yes.
Educated registered voters.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your thoughts, and experience.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for doing this project.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Bye.
Bye.